Martina, one of the major tasks of ICFO is to promote standards of compliance on a worldwide basis. And I know that because I've been part of it. You have been working over the past few months about some thoughts and ideas to promote a set of possible standards for the monitoring of INGOs. Could you tell us a bit about the main points, the main issues which have been analyzed?
Mm-hmm. Well, we identified in ICFO that monitoring international working NGOs and INGOs is a common challenge for all of us. And as I said this morning, we want to learn from each other. So we put up a project with all the analysts from not all the, but from analysts. It was from Bennett as senior chief operating officer, from BBB Wise Giving Alliance. We had the senior analyst from Canada. We had from Fundación Lealtad in Spain. We had from Italy and from Switzerland. And we exchanged our experience. How do we monitor international NGOs? We find out that we have to divide two different types. So it's more the national charity working abroad, and then the other ones working in an international network. So we found out they have two different situations. And what we did is, it's not a standard for charities, it's more a recommendation for monitoring organizations, what they could think of including in their standards. What we think would be a good practice for an organization who works internationally, and also how a monitoring organization could check if an international NGO is following this good practice. So what questions could they ask them? What could they include in their checklists? And what documents do they have to ask for and to follow? So the intention of these recommendations is not to come up with a set of international standards. It's more to help us to improve our monitoring systems and maybe to make them more similar. But we know we are all working in different environments. We have different levels of monitoring or also different approaches of monitoring. And we have like 4 main topics we focused on. It's the planning and evaluation of projects, what has been said before. So how do you select projects? How do you plan them? How do you make sure the counterparty is involved and it's not only directed by the giving country? It's the corruption. So and it's more to if you do you have procedures in place if you do contract someone, if you do buy a lot of services or stuff, and we have corruption policies. That's for everyone. And then to the international networks, the INGOs working in different countries, we also have special focus on the transparency issue. And we say, well, it's important transparency to the public, but also transparency to the monitoring organization, because the monitoring organization is the one who can ask for this transparency, and they also can check it for the donor, because for donors it's also very difficult to understand and to have the time, take the time. So this can be a work monitoring organizations can do for donors to help them. And then the 4th part we are thinking about is make the local organization who is raising the funds also accountable for spending, which, as John just explained, does not mean he has to run all the projects from Canada, but he should use the network or whatever he has available to get the information. They should have influence on how the money is spent, and they should be able to take responsibility. So that's the line we are thinking of. But we will discuss these recommendations within our network. We have the assembly tomorrow, so maybe there are new or more suggestions, and maybe we will change them. We will improve this with all the experience we have, because we think this is something where we can learn, and we can give also a value for our members who maybe have the same problem.